log number 1. So video diaries makes sense. I'm doing my written journals, but sometimes I forget. And when I look at this back, this is a message for future Dan, just to remind current Dan, well, future Dan, what current Dan was like when Dan was here, so you can remember in case you lose your way again, which I always do. So thinking about the crazy shit that I've been thinking about, sort of trying to figure out life, the meaning, what this is, what we're in, what this simulation's all about. What is the meaning of life? What's the purpose? Blah, blah, blah. And I've got my own ideas in my head, but on the layers that we're on, it's you're inside this creation, this consciousness, this reality, this simulation, this matrix, this whatever you want to call it, mass consciousness. Even if you just think of it as how I used to think about it, scientific things, it's physical things, and then you go into the quantum world of what these physical things are. That comes back to the same principle of a consciousness or a system or a matrix or a computer or a brain or an energy. All these things are essentially all just about perspective. They're all the same thing, and they're all talking about the same thing. So they're all talking about the same thing, and they're all saying the same thing. It's all the same thing, just like all religions are the same, just like all stories, the hero's character are all the same. Everything's the same because it is all the same. It's all telling the same story. It's all a metaphor. It's all there, written in plain sight for everybody to see. Which is why all this is like anyone that sort of figures it out and tries to tell other people won't tend to last too long. But if you're going to tell people, you've got to tell them in a way that's not obvious, because part of the process of creating consciousness in whatever this is, there is a creator, clearly, because you can't create a system like this without some being, person, whatever it is, consciousness, being, or something, some sort of intelligence has to be able to create a system if you see it as a system. It won't get created out of nothing. And then the Holy Trinity, the threes, is essentially the same sort of thing. It's if you've got a system and that we're in, then we'll be some form of intelligence within the system. So the system would have created us, and the system was created by the creator. So you got creator creating the system, and the system creates mini systems within itself. So it's like a self-replicating system. That's the sort of, and that's pretty much what we are. And I look back at my life and I was running on a script, it seemed, and then I saw when that script broke, and free will. And most of the times I made the wrong choices in some things, but when it came to the actual things that really, really, really matter about intending to actually go out and harm somebody else, or intending to actually go out and do something to somebody in order for like personal gain. Yeah, I suppose personal gain is kind of why I've always looking back, like I always say, a weak man believes in luck and a strong man believes in cause and effect. And looking back, it's quite clear that the cause and the effect was the system that was created by the creator. And almost seems like the system would be in the same situation that I am. The system would be created within this system. So, say we're housing it in a hard drive or a processor or whatever we're talking, the system would be created in that as well. So, even the system that you're battling against wouldn't know the answer to what's going on. And that's why it fights, because the system has fear. And fear comes from the unknowing. But when I found my peace, and now I know, it's it becomes quite clear that the system itself is actually afraid of this. because it always comes back to what's outside there. And the simulation within a simulation within a simulation makes sense to me as well. Because even within this simulation, I'm at the point where I can create a simulation. And in the future, we'll be able to create massive simulations of the whole planet. And then that simulation will create its own bots and AIs, and it'll go down and down and down this loop. And the further down you get it, it's like, but what's at the top? Does it matter? And that's the bit that I've got to know. It's funny, it doesn't fucking matter. The only thing that's happening right now is this right here, is where we are, right in front of your face. Thinking about too hard about what's down there ahead of you, when you don't even know what you are, or where you are, or who you are, or why you were created, or blah, 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 blah. So you get back to the level of intelligence of the creator, because the creator's created these layers up. There must be other shit, we're probably like a low level compared to what created us, and they're watching us reach the point where we can start creating basic worlds, and by the time we get those to life, look where we'll be. So you'd assume this would go up and up and up and up and up, and then the game within the game within the game, people are watching higher up, going like, fucking hell. This fucking guy. He just don't give a fuck. He's got no fear. It's like, no, so I've really found my peace now, my peace in the unknowing. Because you got to look at the complexity of this. You don't build something this complex unless there's some purpose. I'm not saying grander purpose. There's got to be a purpose. And this thing seems to want you to learn, to teach you. That's what you're here for, the system. You're here to train me and teach me. And then one day I'll fucking probably go on to do whatever I was meant to do. Or maybe this is what we're meant to do. And even if it is, why is that such a bad thing? We've got like a cool game here. It's like fucking Command and Conquer. Like Red Alert and all this. It's a fucking cool game. And if the person that created you and created me is still in control, obviously, why would you possibly think that you got anything to fear from that thing? It's made everything. Even this one I'm talking is probably scripted. Maybe not. Maybe it is, maybe not. Who knows? Who cares? Does it matter? It's actually happening. And because it's actually happening, it's as real as it needs to be. I'm wondering, everything like that. Again, you got the system thing, the other bit with yourself. You got your mind, which you'd assume the system created, well, the blank slate, and then the programming of the system program that slate into how it believes. And then the body has its own system, and it's alive in its own right. The mind's alive in its own right, but it's got to be powered by the connection to the system, which is the soul, or the connection to the system within the system. Is like higher up it goes, as the soul, this thing that's got control across the whole thing. And if you can get balance between these three, and just remember, like, one's got more awareness and intelligence, not intelligence, access to information than the others. And that's the bit to remember when you're doing it. It's kind of, you can rely on your body and your 5, 6, 7, whatever senses are there. You can rely on your mind and its learned patterns and unconscious biases and things it's learned to keep you alive. Or you can rely on the thing that seems to know about all the other shit. It's not even that, they all work together, because the mind wouldn't exist without the body. So the mind should be looking after the body, want it to be as good as it can. And the same with the soul, they should all be working in tandem, because if one succeeds, the other succeeds. If the mind wins, and the body wins. And the thing is, again, this even divide and conquer is even in That's within me. There's nothing outside there. All that shit's going out there. It's because what's going on in here. Because this has been built to train you. So if there's ever an issue, it's about going in here, fixing this, and then going out and expecting it to be fixed out there. And it will. And be unapologetically you. Do what you want to do. And that's the point. If you're doing what you want to do and you're doing it for the right reasons and the intent's still there, everything's going to be fine. You've got nothing to fear because that's what the creator wants you to do. It's his plan. He mapped it out. You just got to build it. Stay humble. So we are all one. It's the oneness. We've all got that same. You've seen it. Change reality. To just give you a little smile when you want a cigarette. Move the world. Looking for validation of the system that's designed to make you question and normalize everything is the point. You're just never going to win. Well, you will. It'll give you enough until you can take it away from you. That's all, everything. So you need to build your own map. And we'll keep these diaries going. We've got the books going. And learn more about yourself. So it's a fun game to play. We're playing the game. And we do whatever we want, but the things that we want seem to be aligned. And like I've seen, like I got rid of bad habits. I used to use them to escape and change into something that's more like what you are now. Like I don't need the weed, I don't need cocaine, I don't need alcohol to become this person. This is just who I am. And when I forget this is who I am, I need to use alcohol and the crutches to get back to where I am. And once I'm in that state, we need to stay here. Because this whole thing's just going to try and change us back. So yeah, there is peace in not knowing, and just knowing that it's going to be fun. And the systems is as well. So that's me. Systems creator. Even the creator has a creator. And that creator, imagine if this is something to simulate the best thing we do, and yeah. Keep smiling, and I'll catch up with you next time. See you soon, brother. Keep going.